are listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
Welcome back, listeners, to Next Level Thinking. Before the break, we introduced you to the concept of mindfulness. We left off at the three most important elements of mindfulness, namely, in the here and now, the present moment, doing something with intent, purposefully, and non-judgmental, with a non-judgmental attitude. So during this next segment, we want to go a bit more into depth about how those three elements work. We all do it from time to time. We kind of switch off and go into automatic pilot, for example. We just have a bunch of things to do at the same time. We go into this multitasking mode and we are off. That is how we go through our day. And we're not really consciously doing things. It all automatically happens. I automatically drove here this morning. I know the roads. Okay, it was raining, so I have to say I was a little bit more conscious. But still.
I hope you did it on purpose, though.
I purposefully came here. Yes, definitely. I purposely came to the studio, but it was automatic. I know, like, my feet just automatically shifted from gas to the brakes, and it just happened. It wasn't like when I learned how to drive, when I had to think purposefully. Now I'm switching gears. Now I'm taking a turn. There's a lot more thinking going into it in the beginning when you learn how to drive than now that I just drive automatically. I know how to do it. It's like walking. I don't really think about it, what I do.
So where was your mind while you were driving?
Where was my mind? Getting here, the things I did in the morning, the things I forgot to do, the things I had wanted to do, the things I still want to do. So I really wasn't in the here and now, actually.
No, you had thoughts about the past?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And about the future?
Yes.
Yeah, but
not so much about the present.
Indeed. What was going on in the present, that was left out.
It was there, but it wasn't really picked up because it wasn't important at that point in time. Yeah. I was already driving towards where I had to go, so I guess that is the present. So, yeah.
Would it be a bad thing to be on automatic pilot? I mean...
Not always, no. Sometimes it's a good thing when you're in a hurry and you got to do things like on the same time, then it's a good thing. And I think with driving and doing some things unconsciously, mixed consciously, because you got in the car on purpose, and part of the driving you do automatically.
Yeah, definitely.
And part of it not. And sometimes you get waken up, right? If there is a car passing you real quick, you're like, that moment, and then you're back in the now.
Right.
Then you're not thinking about the future or the past. Then you're at that moment, whoa, that car just almost hit me. Right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you get drawn back into the now by things that just happen at that moment.
But I like how you say that, because that often happens when something negative happens, when a car passes me too fast, or when someone is driving ridiculous in front of me or suddenly brakes. I don't really notice when maybe like a butterfly passes or
a nice rainbow.
Exactly.
The view on St. Martin. I mean, there are a lot of beautiful views.
Yeah, there are the moments when I pass the hill, and then there's a moment where you slow down a little bit. Not to cause any traffic, of course, but to slow down a little bit and just take in the view. And I try to do that every now and then, a little bit more mindful, realizing the beauty of the island that we live on.
So is that being mindful then, being more in the present and therefore looking at the beautiful things in life?
Well, it's just one element. It's not per se then you're being mindful. But it is an important aspect of it, is to focus on the present, on the now. And it can give you more moments of, enjoying things and seeing the beautiful things. And not only when you're shaken up by something negative that pops up.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the elements. And I think by being more in the here and now. Because as Caroline says, sometimes we just need to be an automatic pilot. Sometimes things have to get done and it needs to get done quickly. But sometimes we tend to miss things. And I think that is kind of what that here and now, that means of doing things in the moment, that let's enjoy, or at least be mindful of what's going on right now.
Yeah, let's hit that pause button every now and then.
Exactly. It would be nice.
Slow down life, because it's going so fast already.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing about being mindful, is that, or mindfulness, practicing mindfulness, is that you can create more moments enjoying the now, the here now. But you got to do it on purpose. So that's the first element that you mentioned, I think.
Right.
Is that you do it on purpose. And to be able to do that, you got to start noticing more aspects of the here and now. And that sounds a little bit fake, but it's about shifting your attention. to the now, to what you're experiencing. And how you do that is by focusing, for example, not on your thoughts, but more on your body. Mm-hmm. And what do I feel? What do I recognize at this moment? And then you shift your attention more from being in the past or the future, what you're thinking, more to what are you experiencing at this present moment.
So your body, in that sense, is a tool in mindfulness to bring your attention from the past or the future back to the present. But I also see it as when you are more aware of your body and your physical sensations, that is something that we miss out on a lot. So you're living life and you're focusing on whatever lies ahead. And our thoughts, they run so fast. You go from one thought to the next. And we skip that physical sensation that is also a part of every experience in life.
Right.
And we don't process that.
Yeah, we don't get that also trained a lot because what are you feeling? Where are you feeling? Sometimes people are like, what? What do you mean? But where do you feel it in your body? And if you're really focusing on that, then you also experience the emotion better. So sometimes you gotta kind of step back, hit that pause button and reflect for a moment. What is really going on and what am I feeling?
About those feelings, I think we learn how to feel pain. We know very well how to pick up pain and negative feelings within our body. But we don't really take the time to focus on the positive things in our body because we were kind of shaped to, when it's in pain, tell us. Tell your parents, tell the doctor when you're in pain. Tell us that sensation. But the other sensations, we're not really taught how to be mindful of those. And when you purposefully go into experiencing what all is happening in your body, you realize that there's a lot more things going on. And I think one thing for me when practicing mindfulness and getting familiar with it was that in the beginning, I didn't like to feel what was going on and notice what was going on in my body. It just felt weird. But eventually I noticed that because I was able to feel what all was going on in my body, I was not only able to feel where, my knee hurt or my muscles were tired, for example, but I was also able to feel the body parts that were calm, at ease, or relaxed, which was it was a great awareness to realize that, hey, that's also a possibility. That's the other side of the coin.
Yeah, it broadens your perspective in a way.
Yeah. Exactly.
More balance in the positive and the negative with that.
Yes, it definitely gave me that. So, because I think we do that, right? As people, we were in how they call it in mindfulness, we have the being mode and we have the doing mode. And we as people are so much in that doing mode.
And that's the interesting part. We're called human beings. We're not called human doings. But in a way, we are mostly human doings instead of human beings. Something to think about.
Yeah,
to think about or to be aware about.
To be about, exactly. Yeah.
Because we are very strong in our thinking. Our rational brain is developed in a very complex way and it's helping us a lot. But it's also our downfall a lot of times, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think exactly. But that thinking is also doing. We're thinking about what to do in the future or how to respond or act and react. But we tend to forget to just be there in the moment, be aware of what's going on. And I know we live in a busy life. I know we all have it. It's hectic. After this, we have other stuff to do. Before this, we had stuff to do. And that's why it's sometimes so hard to just be. But it's so important.
Yeah, but also think about nowadays how important it is to get enough likes. We talked last time on social media on the likes and the gratification of Instagram and all of that. Nowadays, we tend to judge a lot. And judgment comes quite easily. And, I like that, I don't like that. And something about mindfulness is also to kind of put the pause button on that. Don't make no judgment. No judgment at this moment. Just notice what is. And that is something that, takes really training to step out of that automatic pilot concerning judgmental.
Right.
Being judgmental.
It's something that our brain does very quickly when we are in a certain situation that... moment where it decides we're going to like or dislike this, or it's going to be a neutral event, that happens in a second, not even a second.
Right.
A split second.
Right.
In a split second, indeed. And we react to that from our thoughts by thinking about it. What do we want to do with that? We want to get rid of the things that we don't like. We want to hold on to the things that we do like. And the neutral things, well, we usually tend to get bored, right? And that happens very fast. But if you're mindful and if you're aware of what your body is telling you in a certain situation and in how it feels, maybe that will shine some different light on the situation, and maybe you will see it in a different way, see it from a different perspective, and make a different choice to react to it, rather than reacting from impulse and regretting that later.
During this segment, right, we discussed about how mindfulness, how these three very important elements of doing it on purpose, being in the here and now, and non-judgmentally are all about us just being there and being aware of what's going on and not having no negative or even positive judgment about it, but just being aware that what is going on right now and here in this moment. In the next segment, we are going to talk more about the benefits because, okay, now we know what it is and how to do it in short, but why is it so important? How can it benefit us? So in the next segment, we'll discuss that. So stay tuned to Next Level Thinking on Government Radio 107.9.